Hello everyone, my name is Rebecca and welcome back to my Pixel Quest. Continuing with our blind playthrough of Ace Attorney Investigations, where we're about to hopefully drag some more information, or perhaps some more accurate information out of Old Bag, one of the most entertaining characters I think in the series. But before we get to that, I was just because I'm standing here looking at Kay's design, I was just thinking, I don't think I've commented on the fact that she has this giant key, kind of decoration question mark in her hair, that is also, at the end of it has many other little keys that all have slightly different designs as well. She has so it's a key with lots of little other key designs on the end of it, which is quite cool. And I was just thinking that this could either be a kind of an appropriate design signifying, someone who is a thief, someone who is getting into many different types of doors. But it also could say something more interesting about her role in the narrative as we go on. I could imagine that as well. She's the key to something. So we'll see. But yeah, it was just looking at it and thinking about it. All right, let's clear up this issue with some well-presented evidence and get this over with. So we've been through a couple of rounds with Old Bag here. I think where this is going to go next is that we're actually going to bring up the angle. Let's see. I came to the stadium to take a short break. As I was resting, I happened to glance over and I saw two men facing each other in that arena. Let me remind myself, because I'm coming back to this after a break. Let me remind myself what I have to play with here. Okay, so none of this is specific to this scenario that we're talking about here. This is all kind of referring back to the Wild West area. All right. As I was resting, I happened to glance over and saw two men facing each other in that area. Suddenly there was a loud gunshot and the person who was shot fell to the ground. It was a very terrifying experience, let me tell you. Alright, let me press this one yet again. You saw two men, can you describe them for me? They looked like your average... Oh, no, of course. Because the new bit of information that we've just discovered is that one of them was in a costume, right? I'm telling you, they were so boring, I don't even remember much beyond that. But did they have any... Honestly, when she said that the first time, it's such an odd thing... it's such an odd thing to go on and on about. Then again, it's Old Bag, so that's her character. But I should have tweaked back then that this was going to be a point, that actually there was going to be something super interesting that she should have commented on, and that would be the point of realization. Did they have any special features? Oh my, don't tell me you're jealous. Hey, she's right. You seem pretty worked up. All right, so this is all the same dialogue. Alright, I thought maybe that might trigger a different... Okay. So maybe we just, She doesn't actually... Though her statement hasn't changed, though. That's what I was thinking might happen. Her statement here hasn't changed to be anything relevant to the fact that the men are unnoticeable or unremarkable. So I feel that presenting the costume doesn't make sense. There's been no amendment of the statement. Well, let's try it anyway. Objection! Oh, it's the two men part. Okay. Two men, how did you know the gender of the two people involved? Seeing as how the victim was wearing a costume at the time. What a great face. Furthermore, I have another matter I'd like to inquire about. I'd very much like to know why you failed to mention the costume in your testimony. I'm beginning to doubt if you really witnessed the murder at all. But I'm telling you, I really did see it. I saw it with my very own eyes. From a seat in the second tier. The second tier. Hey, didn't you say you saw it right in front of you earlier? That was, I was using the phrase in the metaphorical sense. I see our witness still has a screw loose in the metaphorical sense. The cushy seats in the second tier are reserved for hotshot VIPs, which is exactly why I go there now and again to take a nap. I can't see how you could have gotten a good look from there, it's so high up. Were you able to see even the victim's costume from way up there? Well, I know I saw 2 people, but I couldn't really see what they looked like because they were in the stage's shadow. It was hard to make out the killer and the victim in that old bag saw in the stage's shadow. Okay, my eyesight isn't what it used to be, Not like when I was young. Oh no. Also knows me if I try to make them. Are they going to let us go back to that? I really want to see what she actually said. Oh, here we go. Not like when I was young. People used to call me the eagle-eyed Wendy back then. I could spot a good man from 100 paces away as I walked down the street, just like that. Of course, they also noticed me in a flash and tried to make their move, but I'm not that easy. I was a careful girl with a judgmental eye, but I never let a good man slip me by. You bet I didn't. If you could have seen... Okay. I don't think there's anything potentially useful or referential in that one. Every now and again in an Ace Attorney game, there's a piece of technology that is so, so far beyond any possible context of the game. And that's fine, it's part of the fun of the game. But this is definitely one of those, a little spray so you can see footprints. Okay, plausible, This, where you can literally create a holographic scene around you. Magic. Absolute magic. Alright, well, what's the next step here? Because all she said basically is, she didn't see them well. This new silhouette of the victim is in a costume. The silhouette can change depending on the information I input. But Little Thief can recreate more than just people. So investigate away, we may even find more info with which to make a more accurate sim. Alright, sounds like a plan. What else is there to look at here? This stuff? Looks like they broke the stage has been... Oh. The stage I saw this morning in the center of the stadium has been packed away. Oh, of course. Oh, that's... Alright. Okay, alright, you're right. I wasn't sure that we were looking at the same view, but we are looking at the same view as where that stage was. It's just been... Yeah, fair enough. Oh. I'm just looking at the back there. So there's... they said that there was... None of this is unusual because they've had a, Max Galactica, an amazing kind of, pop magician. They've had rock groups, etc. But anyway, there's some very, interesting, colourful boxes back there. And the one with the question mark, there's every reason for it to not be this. But I just can't help thinking, is that possibly a Mario reference? Because it has the look of a Mario question block, especially from Mario 3. The stage I saw this morning, packed away, looks like they break the stage down. Okay, alright, so we've got some extra pieces to play with. I guess this means they're done for the day. Or maybe it's because a different show is scheduled to start its run tomorrow. Okay. Oh, no. Hang on, actually maybe. You've got some dialogue. So you believe that this gadget will provide us with the proof we need? Yeah, of course. Pretty neat, huh? By inputting info like this, it can recreate the crime scene exactly as it was. But it's not really doing any of that, is it? It's just a visualization for our imagination of the facts, So it's really just, yeah, that's all it is. It's not going to Like, we could do all of this imagination in our head, you know what I mean? We could do all of this. I don't think it's doing anything in addition to you know, to what we are able to think about when we consider the facts, even when we recreate them spatially in our minds. It's just allowing us to sort of look at it together. Anyway, we'll see. Maybe I'm way off. Maybe I'm wrong. Sorry, Kay. Sorry to be doubtful. It's just, I don't know if it's going to help us prove anything. It might help us figure something out. Although Little Thief was originally intended to be a training sim for heists. A training sim for thievery? I don't believe I can turn a deaf ear to that, Kay. But for practice, it's not like I've actually stolen anything yet. Besides, we're in the middle of an investigation, so stop nitpicking. Even if it is just practice, I can't exactly endorse the act of stealing. It's interesting, actually, that she, you know, I hadn't thought about it in this way before, because I was just thinking, you know, obviously there's all of these there's all this in-game narrative importance to the fact that Kay is obviously very green. You know, she's super new to this. You know, she's enthusiastic, she's passionate, but she's not yet an experienced, you know, Yatagarasu successor. And, you know, like, this is all part of the story, and it also gives her character, I suppose, this sort of, you know, fun punchiness. You know, she's really enthusiastic and bubbly and everything like that. But now that he said that, I've just considered the other sort of utility of her being this kind of character, because as they're sort of writing this game and going, well, let's have Edgeworth have a period where he teams up with, you know, like the Yatagarasu in a kind of, you know, in an assistant role. And it might have also been that they're like, well, we literally, just because of his diligence as a prosecutor, like, we can't have him team up, you know, with a thief if they really are somebody who has this long history of crime. You know what I mean? It's just a step too far for Edgeworth, maybe. But the fact that Kay here hasn't actually done anything yet, if that's true, I don't know. You know, that might be part of, like, how they kind of balance the believability with his character, I suppose. Yeah. Anyway, even if it's just practice, I can't exactly endorse the act of stealing. Although, admittedly, this device is rather useful in an investigation. You like it, Kay? So how am I supposed to use this to aid my investigation? I love that he literally just went from saying, admittedly, this is really useful in an investigation, and then, so how am I meant to use this in an investigation? Oh, that's right, I guess I should explain how to use it. Objects outlined in yellow are things that are not present in our time but were in the past. Things outlined in a dotted line are things that exist now but didn't in the past. Oh. I don't even think we have any of those yet. I see. You can examine and interact with replicated people and objects as you normally do. You can even, like, what do you mean he can interact with them as he normally does? They're holograms. They're not, it's just a sort of, it's just light. It's just static light, right? It's not doing anything. What do you mean he can interact with them? You can even present evidence whenever you find an inconsistency. But, like, who is he presenting it to? It's just to us. It's just to us. It's to the air, to himself. It's not, yeah. It's just our imagination. Oh, and be sure to point out mistakes in the recreation with evidence too. Very well. Let's continue with the investigation. If there's something you don't get about Little Thief, feel free to ask anytime, okay? Alright, so we've got this extra stage thing. There's, again, well, we can chat. We can chat to Emma. This is amazing. Just feel the power of science. Footprint analysis. Thanks to you, I'm able to proceed with my investigation once again. Thank you. Ah, it was nothing. I'm just glad the science and I could be of service. Pretty amazing how we could see the footprints. What's the secret behind that thing? I don't know if this is meant to be her being, like, thoughtful, like, you know, like, how does this work? Or if this is her sort of, like, this look on her face. Is this her being sort of competitive? Because Kay also has technology that was useful. Oh, you want to know? Here, you can read the manual. Aha, very interesting. So if I do this, I can avoid leaving footprints. She can't seriously be trying to use the information to her advantage as a thief. Wait. Okay. Let's see what we can make happen here. Stage was packed up in the shadow. Well, I mean, this has got to be it. If that woman's testimony is to be believed, the murder occurred before the stage was broken down. Do you want me to input that bit of info into Little Thief? Yes, if you please. Okay. But look, obviously I've got to there's a lot of things I've got to let go in this game, and especially with things that are in front of us right now. But like, how does Kay know information like exactly where the stage was positioned, you know? Anyway, let's just assume she does. Let's just assume somehow this data is available and readily accessible at the press of a button. Alright. So we're walking around again. Okay, we're walking around again. Alright, so let's have a look at this guy now who's who must have shot the victim while he was trapped within the stage flooring. There is clearly a contradiction here. Please stop stealing my lines. Oh, come on. It wasn't that hard to see it coming, even for a layman like me. I suppose, in any case, it's not possible for the killer to have stood here in that way. But, like, here's the other thing. It's not only, like, how do we know that the stage was exactly here? It's like, how do we know that the people were standing exactly where they are in this Little Thief recreation as well? I mean, yes, we have the footprints, but that's pretty rough. And obviously, the witness testimony we have is extremely rough. So, like, how do we know they were even oriented in this direction, you know? Like, it could have been angled a little bit differently, and then he could have just been standing in front of the stage, fine. Anyway, because there was a very real stage set up in this spot at the time. Yeesh, I told you I got it. Do you feel the need to explain everything? Yes, well, in any case, we still need to resolve this unusual situation. Isn't it obvious? The killer was on top of the stage, naturally. Right, Miss Oldbag? Yes, I remember now. The killer was standing on top of the stage. Even I'm waggling my finger. I'm disappointed with you all for not understanding the contradiction immediately. See? Now let me update this info in the simulation. See, this is just Kay, you know, imposing her own framing of events onto this simulation. Investigation complete? Investigation complete my ass? Well, what have we here? What? What just happened? Why did that go so quickly? Well, what have we here? A bunch of hooligans running amok, I see. I should have brought out my gruff voice. Something so that Chinaman. Definitely an undercover agent. Agent Lang, how nice of you to join us. Oh, seething with anger. Well, I can't have you going around messing up my crime scenes. Agent Lang, we've discovered that the real scene of the murder is here, the stadium. I see, thanks. For what? I'm just trying to show you my appreciation for all the time you saved me. Who knew that such a strange little toy could recreate a crime scene like that? Little Thief is not a toy. You too! Sir! What? Did they... What? And there you have it. You see? Big boys like me don't need silly toys, little girl. You just had your cops put this whole stage together? This is not the work of two guys in a couple of minutes. This has to be constructed. And also, I don't know if you should be handling like these instruments and things like that. What on earth? I'm going to say that this is even more unbelievable than the little thief technology. Ah, indeed. Now this is a recreation. So what? Do you still intend to assert that Officer Meekins is the killer? Of course. Even knowing that the crime took place here doesn't let him off the hook. Agent Lang's logic. This is the real scene of the crime. Officer Meekins lay in wait for the victim on top of the stage. And when the victim finally showed, he shot him from on high. Okay, so now rather than kind of contradicting old Bag's statement, we get to, throw it back in this guy's face. And that's cool. That's even more satisfying. How far will you go to accuse Officer Meekins of the crime? He's the most likely suspect we've got, especially given the situation with his gun. So, I am wondering, obviously this guy is a bad guy. We all know this guy is a bad guy, right? Like, this is a bad guy. This guy is a bad guy. This guy is a bad guy who's done many bad things. We don't believe anyone except for Edgeworth. We don't believe anyone who has an unblemished record and all of that sort of stuff. There's always something behind it. On top of that, he's a huge jerk. On top of that, he's completely foolish and not as smart as he should be. On top of that, he's controlling. He has people do his work for him. And also, many, many, many other alarm bells ringing about everything about this guy. So he's a bad guy. He's a bad guy. He's done something bad. Is he the killer in this case, or is he more of like the big bad who has people killed across all of the cases that we're playing? Something like that. I don't know. But he's a bad guy. I am now thinking that he has actually orchestrated Meekins to be in the position that he was in. I had no problem believing when we were talking to him that all of that stuff that Meekins was talking about was just purely his own, clownishness, and that he found himself there. I wasn't suspicious of anything about what he was saying at that time. But now I'm thinking he's so determined to pin this on Meekins, and actually, because Meekins is easily influenceable, easily controllable, easily predictable, and he's so set. He's hanging a lot on the fact, on this whole gun thing. This is a person with a gun. Nobody else has guns. We have the law. Like, he's got the evidence ready to hang his case on this. So, yeah. So it feels like he's setting Meekins up, and then I suppose what that's making me think of is that doing that is getting Meekins to be in that particular position in the Wild West. So somehow kind of making him run there. And was Meekins chasing kids there? Like, is it possible that this guy had someone who seems like a kid do that? I don't know. And also seems to have stolen his gun in some way to be like, oh, your gun is missing. Okay, anyway, that's my current thinking. Well, even if he is the killer, at least my recreation was on the mark. You see? Thank you for understanding, my little crow girl. I'm not some common crow. I'm the Yatagarasu, the raven of legend. Unfortunately, your conclusion has yet to be tested, so let's see how well it holds up. Dun dun. Rebuttal. This is the real scene of the crime. Officer Meekins lay in wait for the victim on top of the stage. So that's kind of the main point, I guess. And when the victim finally showed, he shot him from on high. Oh, maybe this is the point of contention. That's the truth your little recreation showed. Okay, so let me... Let me have a think about what we've got here. So the entry point is, all right, so we know for sure, yeah, so it's not just the angle, it's that we know exactly which one was the entry point and which one was the exit point. So this is it.
Objection!
I'm terribly sorry, Agent Lang. He's not terribly sorry. I should have warned you that our recreation is incomplete. You cut in quite unexpectedly after all. Thank you for saying so. I was like, what's happening? Why is this ending all of a sudden? What's that supposed to mean? You said that the victim was shot by the killer from up above, correct? I hate to break it to you, but that's not possible. Huh? Why not? Recall Mr. Deacon's body, specifically where the gunshot wounds were located. She got nothing. Actually, I didn't get that good of a look. Oh, well then. The bullet entered Mr. Deacon in his abdominal region and exited his right shoulder. Ugh. This is more consistent with an angled shot from beneath the victim. Then, yes, our recreation had the victim being shot at an angle from above. That's a confusing way of putting something that I think could be put much more simply, Edgeworth. A clear contradiction. You're discounting your own conclusions? No, this one point is the only flaw. This was the mistaken parameter in our recreation. It's the killer and victim's locations. Yes, the locations of the killer and the victim were wrong. Ah, I get it. I see what you're trying to say. I believe the killer and the victim were standing opposite to what we initially thought. It was the victim who was on top of the stage as he was being shot by the killer. Yeah, okay, fair enough, fair enough. But does that mean that we can see, again, I'm still finding it incredible that that this blood wouldn't leave some kind of, environmental mark, like that it would be entirely contained within this costume, even though the costume has a big bloody gunshot wound in the middle of it now. In fact, 2. So can we look for any traces of blood on the stage, maybe? If this is what happened, it'd also explain the positioning of the gunshot wounds. But then what about the footprints? Since footprints don't lie, we can assume then that the killer also wore a costume. I'm just thinking as well, about how this is playing out now. And what obviously we don't know sort of why any of this is happening. We could make guesses, but not much of that has come up yet in the game. We've got this kidnapped person, we've got the, Interpol people who might be involved with, previous cases, all of that sort of stuff. And we've got and we ourselves were kidnapped, and then the Yatakarasu is here doing something or other, and they haven't told us anything, and we should have asked them for information about this by now. But anyway, just thinking through, why is this occurring? What is going on here? Why is this person shooting this butler? I guess one thing that has now occurred to me is that they might be shooting, the killer might be shooting this person not knowing who it is. This person is in a costume after all, so they might think it's someone else, and this butler might have got shot, essentially in place of somebody else. Anyway, let's see how things go out. Just throwing that one out there in case I happen to be right, and then I can do a little dance. Since footprints don't lie, we can assume then that killer also wore a costume. Oh. Yeah, that's a good point, actually. That hadn't occurred to me. I'd forgotten about the footprints, actually. Yeah, the footprints. Okay. But were there no other non-costume footprints? Okay, I'll try using that data instead. So it's a badger shootout. Judging by the fact that both the killer and the victim were wearing costume, can I just... Alright, now that we're throwing this one out, can I just point out, and I'm looking at this picture in front of me, how likely is that somebody in this big costume was going to be able to hold and accurately, or even inaccurately, fire a handgun? Like, a handgun is designed for a hand. Do they have such... They don't look like they have small, form-fitting costumes, like glove-like hand, grips or anything like that. They look like they've got big, fluffy, goopy, mascot costume arms and hands. So... Are these things really going to be able to fire a gun? It doesn't seem likely, and I feel like they kind of know, because that looks like it was very hard to try to draw into something plausible. Like, you can actually see, like, yes, you can see the hand gripping the gun, and you're not going to have grip, right? Like, do they have grip built into the palms of these hands? Possibly they do. But it seems... I don't know, it seems unlikely, but let's say that one's possible. But then look inside the trigger, hole. I don't know anything about guns, so, where the trigger is anyway, where your finger is meant to go in to hold the trigger. There's just this tiny little bit of red there. And I guess they're like, yeah, don't think about it too much. His finger goes in there. But I don't know if it does. I'd say it was a killing between the two kidnappers. But yeah, okay, interesting. That would be the most natural conclusion. Wouldn't you agree, Agent Lang? I mean, that seems like a real stretch to make that assertion at this point, honestly. Like, we know so little about what's going on. There could be multiple players. There could be mistaken identities. Oh, hello, Pixel. Well done, Mr. Prosecutor. I just had to... oh, excuse me. I just had to pause to give my darling little kitty Pixel his... I was going to spell it out, but he's had them now. His treats. He has his treat time about now, so that's why he was coming up to remind me. So helpful. All right, Lang, gruff voice. Well done, Mr. Prosecutor. No, I can't. I can't keep doing that. But that alone doesn't clear Officer Meekins of the crime. Another bit of proof. It's just funny the way that's phrased. Another bit of proof. I ask that you take another good look at the tire marks over there. The 3 marks are indicative of the blue Badgermobile. That story Officer Meekins told about that shop on wheels getting stolen was just a lie. He drove that blue Badgermobile here and committed the murder. Then he used the car to move the body to the garage in the Wild Wild West area. We're really, moving along here. You believe he moved the body with the car? That's right. It was Officer Meekins himself who pointed us to the way he did it. The 3-tired tread marks are very telling. However, is the blue Badgermobile the only thing capable of creating such a pattern? Oh. Or could there be... does he mean that there's not just the blue Badgermobile, there's the pink Badgermobile and then the other Badgermobile? Or does he mean yet another vehicle? A whole different type of vehicle? Let's just press because I'm curious. The tie marks? Yes, the tie marks. The ones there behind the stage. Because we haven't even seen those. Is this the first time... did we have any other opportunity to see these? I don't think so. Or could I have seen them in that last little bit before this guy ended? I don't know. They were hidden up until now by the various pieces of stage equipment. As for when they were made, they must have been made after the rain had begun to fall, correct? Yes, and probably around the same time as when the killer's footprints were made. The tyres on that blue Badgermobile probably got pretty muddy because of that. I'd say it's the blue Badgermobile because, well, that's pretty obvious too. The 3 marks are indicative of the blue Badgermobile. What have we got on that vehicle? So, I mean, for one thing, I suppose like, is this actually the vehicle that Meekins was driving and he parked it in the garage next to a dead body? Or like what is the other one? What's the one on the other side? Which character is that? You know, which vehicle is that associated with? Or, you know, like, was the body not there yet when he parked it? There's the other thing I'm thinking is there's no tire tracks in front of this vehicle. It still seems like this vehicle hasn't moved. I don't know if that's something you're meant to notice from this particular shot, but, you know, there's no tire tracks in front of this structure here. Alright, but anyway, we've just got the 3 marks are indicative. Mobile shop on 3 wheels was parked inside the Wild Wild West area garage. That's all we've got. Colin Devore. Stuff about the bullet. Yeah, nothing else that relates to the vehicles except for this map that, you know, it's not like an accurate location of what is available or where anything is. I wonder, like, I wonder if or how like, certainly we're going to use this map. There's a reason we have this map. Like, we're going to use it at some stage to talk. I'm sure there's going to be some kind of spatial question. I'm just wondering, like, I wonder what it's going to be, you know, like about whether something is close to whether one place is close to another place, or whether you can access one place from another place, that sort of thing. And the thing that I'm actually noticing now, in particular, is this boat, and that it has a conspicuous little dock down the bottom. And that dock is really conspicuous, actually, like even just the way it's drawn compared to a lot of other things. And it's got that little bright pathway heading down to it. That is quite particular. Like, you wouldn't be able to access that from anywhere else. It's really blocked off from other things. So if I had to guess at what we were going to use this map for, just from the way it's designed, I would say it's going to be about the access to that dock and about the fact that somebody had to come a certain way to get there, to get, you know, to and from that boat. That's going to be my guess. And obviously the main thing, you know, the very first thing that you notice about this, or that I notice about this, but I think anyone would notice about this the very first time they look at this is, oh, it's on an island. You know, like it's a theme park, and then it's on an island. You know, like there's a really important reason why we're set on an island here. It's not, you know, it's not unusual, but it's not that common as well. Like it's particular. And that boat and that dock is important. All right, anyway, but that's got nothing to do with what we're doing right now. That's just me thinking ahead. So, let's just press everything. Let's just see what he's got for the time being. 3 tire marks. I have to agree that the blue Badgermobile has 3 tires. Of course. The only thing in this park that could make those marks is that roving shop. Are you forgetting that there are, in fact, 3 of them? Oh, thank you. That's what I was hoping for. Like, are we going to talk about the fact that there are multiple vehicles? You can't simply ignore the pink and the proto-Badgermobiles, Of course, I didn't say it could be either of the other 2. But I see no reason to drag them into this just to complicate things. That's not much of an of a response, honestly. That story Officer Meekins told was a lie. Of course, you have some sort of proof that it was all a lie, correct? Of course not. Well, that was blunt. But suppose it is a lie. It would explain a lot of things, like his movements and his whereabouts. Okay, this is so thin. This guy's... Oh man, he's not very good. He drove the blue... he's just good enough to have gotten where he is. He's just good enough to have come this far. But he's not actually very good. He drove the blue Badgermobile here and committed the murder.
Hold it!
So you still claim that the tyre marks belong to the blue Badgermobile? It must have arrived on the scene after the ground had become wet with rain. Officer Meekins committed the murder. Then he used the car to move the body to the garage in the Wild Wild West area.
Hold it!
Besides the blue Badgermobile, there are other ways the body could have been moved. Recall what the Wild Wild West area looked like. Only the blue Badgermobile and Mr. Deacon's bodies were in the garage. I'd say that's proof. But like, couldn't something have gone there and then left again? I suppose if one were to look at that place, that would be the only logical No, it wouldn't be. Somebody can park and then leave again. Vehicles can go to one place and then go to another place. However, my experience tells me that the truth is usually not so easily found. Is there some sort of problem with Agent Lang's statement with regards to that scene? Okay, that's a... They're telling us that this is where the problem is. Looks like the only thing that car was selling was death, not dreams. That's amazing. Good one, Kay. Only if what Agent Lang believes turns out to be true. The three-eyed tread marks are very telling, however. I just said the three-eyed tread mark, in part because I was thinking about Kay and I was actually looking at her badge there. The three-tired tread marks are very telling, however. I was quietly thinking to myself, like, could there actually be a connection coming up? But that's, you know, I don't know. What would that be? That the Yatagarasu has this symbol of a three-legged raven, and yet, you know, like, why would that relate to the fact that there are three-wheeled vehicles? Do they drive a three-wheeled vehicle? That would be so crazy. That would not be good for their cover. Is the blue Badgermobile the only thing capable of creating such a pattern? Yeah, I mean, that's what I was thinking was the point of contention, because it's phrased so specifically. So I think that that's the thing that we have to... He drove the blue Badgermobile here to committed the murder, then he used the car to move the body to the garage in the Wild Wild West area. Oh, sorry. That's it. The three marks are indicative of the blue Badgermobile. So maybe this is the... Maybe this is the point that we need to... Which implies there should be evidence of blood at the real murder site. Yeah, I mean, that's what I'm sort of stuck on as well. Like, there should be some evidence of blood, but it doesn't seem that we're there yet. But... I don't think we have anything else related to, you know, like, something else that can make 3 tire tracks, unless what we're saying is there are other vehicles. But that's already come up just in the incidental conversation. It hasn't come up as like a major point of contention. Nothing. Man, the way that Proto Badger stands, like gripping the side of his costume there, so awful. I don't know, man. I don't know. There's like, that's just related to the autopsy report or the informal autopsy report. I don't know. I don't know what we can say could also make 3 marks apart from just the other vehicles. He drove the Blue Badgermobile here and committed the murder. Is this the point? Is it that that vehicle couldn't have been driven here? Maybe the whole thing that I was saying is actually true. Maybe it's that there actually aren't, like, this thing hasn't moved. Like, there's no tire mark there. So I'm going to say this. Oh, I was correct. Yes. I didn't think that would actually necessarily come up, but that was... I should have believed in myself, everybody. I should have believed. Sorry, Agent Lang, but that's an impossible tale. And why is that? Those tire marks could not have been left by Officer Meakin's Blue Badgermobile. One look at the car would have told you so. Yeah, because he was saying it's muddy tires. I mean, look, the thing is, I think it's here, but I think it's also here. But then again, this thing isn't letting me go any lower than this, so maybe we'll say this.
Take that!
Take a good look at the tires. There's not a single dollop of mud to be found on it. Nyah. If this car had come to the backstage area and left those tire tracks, then the lack of mud on these tires stands out as very peculiar indeed. Then how do you explain the tire tracks, genius? Hey, I've got it. What about Mr. Oldbag's pink Badgermobile? Don't be ridiculous. I was sleeping the entire time in the second-tier seats. Indeed, I believe we can rule her out as someone related to the crime. I mean, like, I believe that too, but I don't know if that's the proper process here. However, there is yet one more roving store, as I recall. Oh, you mean the proto-badger? Yeah, the creepiest of them all. The creepiest one. That's right. There was one more parking space inside the... It's taken us so long to get to the extremely obvious point here that we have known for so long, which is that this is the only space that has tire marks outside of it. Like... This should have been raised much earlier. You know? We've known this since the very first moment we opened this garage. That this is where the tire marks... We could already see the tire marks before we opened the garage. When we opened the garage, it was plain that this is the place where they led. And they are the only place. This is the only space with tire marks. Why? Why is it only now? That's right, there was one more parking space inside that garage, and it proves the existence of a proto-Badgermobile. Well, we don't really need to prove its existence, right? Like, that's just part of the park. Agent Lang, I suggest you find this proto-Badgermobile post-haste. There must still be some sort of incriminating evidence on it. Should we tell him to investigate this, though? I don't know. Nah. Look at his two little fingers wiggling in his pocket there. That's a bit gross. It's just, that's just kind of got a weird animation to it. Who dis? Hey, did you hear something? Help. Is this Lance? Help me. This must be Lance, because he looked like a little rich boy. Little pink earrings. It actually sort of makes his earlobe at the back of his face there look like a thumb. Anyway, I was just noticing the pink earrings because I was thinking about the pink... Hey, Pixie! Hey, my little Pixel! He's saying hi. Yeah, it was making me think of that, you know, it seems like the same pink as the buttons on the flight attendants' uniforms. And then that kind of little gold... I don't know what you call those things. That little gold thingamy coming out of his pocket there with a clip. Okay. Are you all right? No, he's not. Well, this is something. Looks like we found our kidnapping victim. Where were you all this time? Wild West. With kidnappers. He was in the room next to the one I was held in. Ran away using underground and got lost. The kidnappers. What is it? I can't understand what you're trying to just shh, everybody, shh, listen, just these might be his last words. The kidnappers escaped wearing costumes. Man, this is a turnabout, which is what this game is all about, but this is one hell of a turnabout. We're getting a ton of information here. Did you see the faces of your kidnappers? No, I didn't see their faces, but one was a woman. A woman? Huh. Quite an important piece of testimony. Hey, what are you guys doing? Stop standing there and get your cops on this already. I haven't mentioned it before, but this guy's glasses, what the hell? Like, just, why? Imagine how difficult that would be to put on and take off. They're so terrible. That is so terrible. I think it's just that whole thing of somebody going like, yeah, let's come up with a really ridiculous design of glasses, you know, and well done, success. They are just so bad. They would be like the worst kind of swimming goggles ever, I think. I'm also just having a look at this at Shina's design here. But nothing really hugely standing out. Just those little kind of crystal-like buttons. The fact that her hair goes underneath her sunglasses. Definitely looks like a wig. I'll even let you guys have what... Oh, hang on. I was busy looking at her. I should have actually looked at how he took those off, because again, they look like goggle straps that must go around your head, but actually they're kind of just curved clips. So it's almost like a face hugger design. You know, like you put them towards your face and these things just kind of clip around the back of the top and the bottom of your face. So weird. I'll even let you guys have what the kids said just now. Consider it a gift. Now, are you going to get out of my crime scene, or am I going to have to get rough? Again? What is the AKGN? What is that meant to be? And he seems to be thinking again to himself, and yet it's obvious, and yet it's just so similar to the "akgen" that's written above it, that this is just such a strange, like, this is just a strange dialogue. You're nothing but a big bully. Come on, Mr. Edgeworth, let's go. Oh, no, not you. You're a very important witness for my case. I'm not about to let you get away that easily. Don't count on me to testify, because I won't. Not for you. That's right, I won't either. You hear me, you young whippersnapper? Hey, calm down. There's no need for all this hostility. I just want to take a statement from each of you. I'm not going to rough either of you up. I give you my word. Come now, fair maidens. Ew. What do you say? Will you cooperate? Fair maidens? My, you little rascal, you sure know the way into a woman's heart. Lungsy says, the passage of time is but a fleeting moment, and a lady is young forever. Trying to outdo my edgy poo with your fancy schmancy sayings. Let's get this over with. So we're clear, I'm only interested in giving you my statement. Sure, just as soon as Mr. Prosecutor leaves us be. He's really keen to get rid of us, despite the fact that we have all of this stuff to now deal with the kidnapper, but he's really keen to get rid of us here. And I wonder why. Mr. Edgeworth. We just left. Oh, so he's having us... Alright, I thought we were going to deal with Lance. Okay, so he's trying to get us away from Lance, so that he can, you know, like, that makes a lot of sense, because obviously this is this is something unexpected, most likely, and he needs to make sure that Lance doesn't have anything incriminating on him. All right, fair enough. I thought he was having us deal with Lance, you know, the kidnapped person. And I was like, wow, it must be something really important at this crime scene. All right, back at the Wild Wild West area. Looks like we got the boot again. With Lance safe, the focus on the investigation will shift solely onto the murder. You mean the infighting between the kidnappers? Yes, and also the identity of the remaining kidnapper. Miles, my boy. Tell me it's true. Tell me that you've really found my boy. Yes, Mr. Romano, we found him earlier in the stadium. Then my little Lance is unhurt? He's not exactly the picture of perfect health, but his life is not in danger. He's being questioned right now by Agent Lang. Poor Lance, it must have been so horrible for him, locked up like a... Alright. Everyone's just standing, watching these two people cry and grimace. Alright, so we can move around. Well, anyway, good luck with your emotions. Let's go and have a look here. Before we... Oh, let's... the dangerous green arrow. So we can't look at... let's look at the vehicle. So this must be the blue Badgermobile that Officer Meekins was driving. He said it was stolen, didn't he? Don't tell me that you were the one who stole it. What the heck are you talking about? I don't even have a license. It's illegal to drive a car without a license. A great thief doesn't break the law. This little girl has a very odd understanding of the word law. Also, I doubt that this counts as that type of vehicle. Look, there's a blurb. Oh, no, we've already read this. This cactus is a very gracious gift to Gatewaterland from the... Oh, did we read this with Gumshoe previously? Is that why? No. But we can't have, because hasn't Kay... Kay has been with us the whole time. Yeah, I can't believe they went to... So is this the police? Yeah. We got all of this... Actually, I have the vague impression I've seen a cactus farm at the precinct before. Yeah, that's the exact same dialogue. So I guess... I don't know, I guess it's just letting us relook at things. In that case, let's... I don't know, I guess there's nothing new for the time being, most likely. Lance Amano with his big wads of cash right on his belly for the taking. Miles, my boy, I can't thank you enough. It was nothing. I'm still in shock over what happened to Oliver. But I have to say I'm relieved that Lance is all right. Oh, that's right. I mustn't forget to pass this on to Lance as soon as the police are finished with him. You didn't show me this earlier? I'm actually leaning forward to try and look at that. The way Lance is being chased after by women reminds me of someone I know. I almost can't believe he received yet another love letter, you know? Here, take a look for yourself. Isn't this a breach of confidentiality? My dear Lance Amano, may I come see you again? Your beloved Viola. Tender Lender Loan Company. What on earth is going on here? So this letter has been slightly wet in the rain. And, you know, it rained just before. So that could be the reason. Then again, the envelope doesn't look wet. And why is it a Tender Lender Loan Company envelope? Interesting. It's a very simple love letter. Oh, hey, let me see. That's really weird. It's from a loan company, Tender Lender. Looks more like a collection bill to me. That's extremely bizarre. Do Do we have anything that would be interesting to present to this guy? This, for sure. This was found on the body of your butler, Oliver. But what strikes me as odd is the name engraved on the back, Colin Devore. Oh, Coden Lavore, Velda Delane. He's so sad that he's got it all mixed up in his mind. I understand, but that last one wasn't even close. Okay. Well, if he knows something, we're not going to get anything from him. Ho ho, that looks to be something with quite a bit of value. You just gave this to me. But then all things have some value attached to them. Only by probing deep into the unknown can we become true winners in this world, Miles. Thanks, but knowledge isn't what's going to make me a winner here. It's information. You just gave this to me. Can't you tell me more about it? Oh, hang on. No, I didn't mean to do that. I wanted to look further at it. There we go. It does have that little face over the stamp area, and I'm not sure if that's meant to be a stamp or not, but it does. It sort of looks like the face has a bit of, like, you know, like the edge of the mouth there is slightly dripping. I mean, dripping isn't the right word. You know what I mean? Slightly, like maybe that could have been wet. But other than that, yeah. You know, in a game like this, you would think that if we're meant to notice that the envelope is wet as well, it would be like there'd be lots of other wet things. Also, maybe it's not that the letter itself has been wet. Maybe it's just the way it's been written. Something else, I don't know. I was just having a look at the way that the letters have been written here. Mainly what was making me look at that is that very first M, the fact that it doesn't look like it's been written as a continuous M. It looks like it's made up of, you know, at least 3 separate strokes, which is just odd. It's just odd that you would do an M that way. And so I was thinking, oh, has someone changed the message here? But actually, it doesn't, you know, it looks like the rest of the letters don't have a style that would be, there's no other evidence that I can see of that, essentially, and they don't have a style that would be easy to do that on. Okay, all right, anyway, that's very interesting, but I don't know what to do with it just yet. What else could we ask this guy about this? Oliver. Oh, he served me well for such a long time. What am I going to do without him? I'm afraid my money will continue to be dampened by my tears in the long nights ahead. Alright, so even this guy is talking about crying and dampening paper. I don't know what else there is to know. I thought he might have something generic to say about the park. Alright. Let's move on. How about you? Lance Amano. He loves me not. He loves me not. Oh, that's the 12th one. No, you can't give up, Lauren. Just one more try. Excuse me, but I can't help but feel a bit sorry for all the flowers you've gone through. I suppose if they were me, then... I believe you said that you are Lance's girlfriend when we first met, correct? Yes, I am, but... Oh, it's not like we both think of each other as lovers. But he did give me this ring, so I guess we're not just friends either. I mean, because this isn't just any ordinary ring. It tastes so sweet when you lick it. Ah, it's so wonderful. You mean to tell me that he gave you a lollipop ring? So which is it? Have you guys not decided if you're going out, or is it just one-sided? Decided? Shouldn't the parties involved naturally just know? My father used to work for Mr. Amano, and so Lance and I grew up together. I said it out loud. I don't see how that's anything to be embarrassed about. So your father was an employee of the Amano group. What did he do? I heard his job was to fly around the world on Pegasus. Flying around the world, eh? What, Pegasus? Oh, Pegasus was the name of the airplane. The airplane belonged to the company. So that's the charm that we have then. Alright, so we must show her that. You had me there for a second. But now it's all changed. My father, he isn't around anymore. Oh, I see. Oh, she got a little tear in her eye, maybe because also her father, the original Yatagarasu, is not around anymore. About 10 years ago, he rode in Pegasus off to somewhere and never returned. Like, did the plane go missing? Riding Pegasus to whereabouts unknown. Sounds like the stuff legends are made of. It's been so long, I don't think I'd recognize him if we would ever meet again. Okay. Thanks, game. I guess we can expect that. All right, so now let's just have a think. Who does she look like? Let's keep that in mind as we go. But also, who have we met? Who have we met that could potentially be this woman's estranged father, who probably is either in hiding or doesn't have his memory anymore? I'm thinking about it while having a sip of my coffee. At the moment I've got nothing because most of the people that we've met are ridiculously young, so they don't fit the bill. Yeah, I mean the main older person we've met is this guy here, Lance's father, and it would be pretty terrible for you if he turned out to be your father. I'm so sorry, Lauren, but I won't give in to the sadness. I have to live. Yes, Lauren, live. About this incident? But isn't the kidnapping already over and dealt with? Yes, but that doesn't mean that it wasn't an incident. It was an incident and continues to be an incident because it hasn't been solved yet. And also you haven't even seen Lance. We don't know if he's okay, and the kidnapper hasn't been caught, and also there's a murder. I've been here the whole time, so I'm afraid I don't know much about any other incident. That's a strange thing. Lauren, that's a very strange, suspicious thing to say. And I am suspicious of you. I don't know. There's parts of her that seem extremely sincere. But there's some, there's obviously... No, I've said before, this is one of the people I suspect is undercover in some way, because I don't know, she has a vibe, her animation, stuff that I talked about before, but obviously she's hiding stuff. She's got that band-aid on her elbow. Something going on with this one. But then again, if she has grown up with Lance, it's not as if she's a person that's just appeared out of nowhere. How did you come to know that Lance had been kidnapped? And yes, and this was suspicious right from the get-go, because apparently that information shouldn't have been widely known. That's because I'm lying. That's what she's saying right here. You based everything on that? I know everything when it comes to my Lance. I mean, actually, I know that some people, listen along to these things, so I do try to read everything out accurately as much as I can. Listen to these Let's Plays rather than watch them. So she lied and said that it was her woman's intuition. It is not her woman's intuition. I know everything when it comes to my Lance. It's really strange. It really must be destiny. Blush, blush. Oh, she started fantasizing again. So what are you going to do now, Mr. Edgeworth? Well, I'm going to walk around in this scene and look at things that I've looked at before again. We already established that there's a good chance that the killer is the other kidnapper. It's my duty to figure out who this other person is. I believe there is one location that might hold a clue or two. Well, honestly, any of these, all of them will hold a clue or two. But I would, let's say isolation room, I'd really like to be able to go there again, and it is right nearby, because it's supposedly, like, it seems like we're thinking that's where Lance was being held, right? The place where we was held, the place where we was held as prisoners, the place where we were held as prisoners. And if he indeed was in the room right next to us, the only thing I can think is that obviously we looked into this room and we didn't see anybody, but there was this massive blue box that was blocking part of the room, so he could have been behind that. Hold it, don't lump me in with you. I can't allow you to slander my good name as a great thief by saying I was captured. Not being able to escape from somewhere qualifies you as a caged bird, Kay. Besides, we checked that place out pretty well while we were there, remember? Don't you think it'd be an even better idea to check somewhere else? What? No, we have new information now. What I really need right now are leads to the killer's identity. I did wonder if perhaps they were giving us a choice of where to go, and that would have been my choice. But I guess it's actually Kidnapper's hideout. The obvious location is the Kidnapper's hideout. But we're still not allowed in, remember? Agent Lang and his men should be done with this area. In that case, there is no harm in asking that officer over there to let us in. I guess that's good enough. Oh, no, whoops, I forgot. I've got to ask her about the... I've got to ask this suspicious Lauren about a couple of things. I've got to ask her about the Pegasus. Oh, is her father Oliver? Oh, maybe her father is... Oh, okay. All right, this possibility has just occurred to me now, that maybe her father is Oliver, and Oliver Deacon is not his real name. In fact, his real name... I was thinking he acquired that necklace that belonged to someone else for some, complex reason that was going to become apparent. But yeah, like maybe in fact that is his necklace, so maybe he is her father, and her father is that name that's on the necklace. Oh, that sucks for her that now he's dead. Or maybe actually she did know about him and she killed him for some reason. All right, there's many possibilities, but that's a good connection that's just occurred to me. Well, maybe on that note, this is the point to leave the episode, because we've done a fair bit here, and it seems like we're about to go into a new location. So let's leave it here. But thank you very much, everybody, for watching. And as always, if you're at all inclined, please, it would always be great if you would think about giving the video a like, or the channel a subscribe, because that really helps us out, especially with things like the YouTube algorithm, but also lets me know that people are watching and enjoying. And other than that, thank you so much for watching and following along with me, and I will see you in the next episode, where I'm pretty sure we're going to get to go in to the Kidnapper's hideout, which is a pretty important location. And as much as I can, I've got to try and go back and ask Lauren about these two important bits of evidence that I think she's going to have something interesting to say about, especially the Pegasus thing, but also the love letter, because being someone who, supposedly loves Lance, this is another person who also may have a love connection with Lance. Anyway, we'll see you in the next episode. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.